7 different types of ethnic groups. The first one is Filipino. The second is Latino, right? And again, this is, let's just say these are just flags that I like as the majority of the group. So this may be a little bit unbiased. So I hope to put his belly that you've seen the little disclaimer that the ones that may thinking I'm racist, I understand that. I did not meant to come up that way. This is this personal experience, okay? Third one is Native, aka Native American. Fourth is Black. 5 is Pacific. Okay, 6 Arab, and 7 Indian. So the reason why I want to make this is because honestly, I need to talk about something a little bit more personal and controversial. Because Deon, why not? People need to know about this because in life we gotta be uncomfortable to know about things than just hiding it. And it's okay to bomb away for your problems if that keeps you safe. At least from my experience, it does. Honestly, I'm not gonna put up with a problem of being friends with someone that want to, let's just say, assault me. I want to talk about it, okay? A Arab woman that I know, well, she was part Arab. And the reason why I want to mention this is because I was watching a video titled Mom Stabs Teen Son Over His Conversion of Islam. Why would you do that? Just because he's Muslim? What's the big deal? Honestly, as long as he treats people well and he's harming anyone and he wants to follow his own beliefs, let him be. It's better to shut on popular, right? The thing is, I've seen this channel very quick, right? Not this one, but name Ethan is online. I think he's kind of hot, by the way. He's a white boy, 22-year-old from Michigan. And I think one of his fans want to make a race tier list, but since they didn't make it like this, I want to make my own. And I know this will be a little bit more personal, okay? So just to start this off, and it's hard to actually just stretch through this across the board here because this iMovie Maker sucks super monkey balls, and it's 2:32 right now, the 26th of June on the Thursday. What you see here on the corner or the middle of these flags, okay, is me grading them based on my treatment of people of this race slash ethnicity, right? So even though this maybe is only a few of them, but the thing is, this is how I feel in general. Tourism doesn't mean that I want to avoid them. It's just, this is how I feel if I meet someone in person, right? Let's just say they're a stranger, maybe, out of the ones that I've experienced with. So this one, okay, S is the highest rank, which means I'll probably would feel really, really flattered if I meet someone that is Filipino. This is the Philippines flag. And the reason I want to mention this because, yes, there is a fan that is, yeah, he's half Mexican. It's just a little bit weird because he kind of gives me more the Filipino vibes, though, right? Even though he's half Mexican, I'll explain that in the next one. I don't want anyone that's Mexican to feel offended, okay? You'll be surprised at the grade that I've given. Okay, the reason why I gave Filipinos an S, and yes, they are Southeast Asian, but if I would break it down, they are way different than Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. They're their own race within the Asian race, right? It's because of videos that I've seen. Let's just say if I will go to the Philippines, I'll probably feel nervous because they're really outgoing and extroverted, right? Not to mention they're Catholic, and let's just say, I feel that I may not be involved, let's just say, loved by Catholic people themselves. Filipinos are known for being really family-oriented. Quite similar to kids, right? But the reason why I want to mention this, I should have mentioned this in, let's just say, when it comes to travel videos, they love to be on camera. That's one thing. They basically love to be, I can't say the word they have a lot of hospitality. They're really welcome to new guests in their country, and it's really odd, though, in my opinion. I should have given it an A+, maybe, that they treat foreigners better than their own people. I think that's really weird, in my opinion, but I know that the country does struggle when it comes to living below the poverty line, and how they're one of the poorest, I believe, Asian countries, right? But I feel way more comfortable, let's just say, compared to going to South Korea. I feel way more comfortable. If I would choose the Philippines, right, it'll be #1 for this. Also, I'm pretty short, so I'm not average. I'm far from that, so I'll probably stick out a little bit in the country, maybe. And for my Mexicans, please pardon me of this, the ones are Latino, right? I like to focus on Latinos, even though this could be in general, but this is more towards basically of this group of the nationality. That's to make this easier, right? Oh, Tina, so you forgot to name. I thought, whatever. I give Latinos, okay, a D-. The reason why I did not give it an F, I should probably give it a D, though. But I had a lot of awful experiences with them. I'm sorry, that sounds mean. I did met a handful of sweethearts. I did, but the thing is, the majority, a lot, did not like me. I got some flashbacks on this, okay? And I even have one of the videos as proof. I got a long story of this. Okay, the reason why I give it a D minus is because I did met a rapper in my state. He basically was born with this unique deformity, right? Condition. It's heartbreaking. He doesn't have a mouth. I'm not kidding. I forgot the name of it. It's extremely rare. It's as rare as meeting a conjoined twin, right? I was at Starbucks at one. This a long time ago. I'll just cut this short. He basically probably thinking I look really young or whatnot, and he gave me a card. There was a little Easter egg in one of my videos that I actually had, right? That my YouTube channel stuff they got removed. I'm trying to get back. The New Year's video, and it's supposed to be the Children's Hospital, right? He gave that to me, and I didn't know who he was until I looked him up, and I'm thinking, why did he give that to me? He didn't have to do that. And he is Mexican. I just wanted to share that. Okay, he's the sweetest Mexican boy or Mexican I've ever met. I hope he's doing well. Now, for the other Mexicans, though, do not basically believe that if someone is black, to smoke weed. That's really offensive. I did not like that. Okay, falsely accusing of shoplifting. That happened to me multiple times. Acting really homophobic around me. Not to mention, there are some Mexican police or Latino police that mistreated me for no apparent reason. And not to mention, if I want to be around other groups or maybe parties, I feel they don't like me. So that's why I give Latinos, let's just say, the worst race that I would encountered if I meet them for the first time, because they would not like me. I'm sorry. It doesn't mean no, I want to be around them. If I would encounter them, I'm thinking they're going to do something to me. Right? Now, I'm not sure how it is now because I'm not left in the house almost a year or whatever. But yeah, I was treated that badly. I should have ranked a little higher, but that's just, I don't know. Okay, maybe that's the moments of the flashbacks. I will rank it to a D. But for now, D minus. Native Americans, okay? C. So this one is a little complex. They're average, right? They're friendly in a way, absolutely. But I guess the ones that I did not like are the alcoholics. And funny enough, that Arab woman that I hang out with, right, she is part native, and it's just a shame that she kind of gives off that vibe that, yes, there is an awful, unhealthy stereotype that, Native Americans, or Navajo, okay, but native in general here, it's just that for the Navajo of the main tribal group, they do drink. And it can get a little bit rowdy, not to mention they're known for domestic violence and knowing for not having education. That is not their mistake. Okay, literally, if they're living up in the northern part of my state, I'm not kidding. Okay? And not to mention they don't like to be on camera, so that's another thing. Okay, at least maybe the ones I've met, just to protect myself, a long story on that. They are a little with. Even though our neighbors, I missed them, okay? It was a white man and his Native American wife. That's why I give this a C. I should give it a C+. She was such a sweetheart. She was so welcoming with me and that woman that I hang out with, right? And she gave me this delicious, let's just say Navajo type of dish. It had like a little leaf on it. There was some good potatoes and some meat. Right, and I think some maybe red beans. I don't remember though. It was so good, and it was Deon, it wasn't like not clay, but it wasn't glass of a ball. I can't explain. I guess it was a clay ball. I love the feel of it. I swear, natives, they know how to cook. They do. I'm not kidding. I am being honest. Literally, it just sucks. I don't know. I know more enough about them. We don't have them here. It's just they're spread out. You gotta mostly go to the res, that's what it's named, to basically meet a lot of them. But we have them here. It's not stuff you're living at Kazakhstan, right? It's hard to explain it, okay? It really is. On to the next, okay? So this is basically my ethnic group, blacks. B minus, because yes, there is some awful stigmas that we do be a little bit homophobic and we do love to act ghetto. For some odd reason, okay, again, I don't live in the deep south, or at least maybe in the Midwest, to be exposed to that type of, let's just say, black stereotypical behavior. not to mention with rap and whatnot, and how we're known for causing a lot of theft. I mean, every race has theft. It's just that you'll see a lot of us in the news. I'm not surprised. Not to mention that Carmelo, he's not black. He is Satan at this point. He is not part of the black race for this. After what he did to that poor white boy that he murdered. Now, he needs life, and his family does not deserve any money. They need to pay every last dime for the rest of the for the boy, the white. I don't want to talk about it. It's really triggering to talk about it. Okay, but in general, I did met some amazing black ones. A man, I saw a video of it. He covered up my St. Patrick's pants. He is black as heck. Okay, his name was my brother's name. Which is really hilarious. The neighbors that basically did care for me, even though they kind of act like Karens and Kevin, saying, "Oh, we don't want you around us anymore," just because I didn't want to say hi to them. Because I go to clinical depression, I can't just say hi every night, right? And I'm not that. I didn't know they like to see me that much. Okay, plus I would sit on their porch. They were comfortable with me. I don't know what happened, but whatever. Okay. And not to mention the manager that worked at Dollar Tree. She was black. She is black, pardon me. I hope to Buddha she's still working there. I miss her. Her name is T. Okay, she saved me from a black worker that verbally harassed me. Oh yeah, she did her job. She needs a raise. Honestly, I feel so safe around her. In fact, I wish she adopted me. Wait, okay, that's so messed up because I love my mother. But if I was alone, right? I would love to just I don't know, that sounds weird. So you would pay for a couple of my groceries once. So blacks, though, they're not as mean as you think. The ones that you see, though, like, let's say also Speed or Kaisenek, well, they're the stereotypes, kind of. My opinion. I don't like them. I'm sorry, but I'm glad that they care for their fans some type of way. Okay, especially also Speed when you visit China. That was lovely. Pacific Islander, okay, or Pacific, B+. So I barely met any, except for one. You know, she's Samoan, but that would kind of, oh, yeah, that's right, it'd be Polynesian, but whatever, close enough, right? I know, because they do chop down, they do. But let's just say if you think about Hawaiian, you know, from Tahiti, New Zealand, that kind of counts in a way. You know, it's a little different, right? I know Pacific people, I have to say, are amazing. Not to mention the men, they know how to fight. They're really tall, I think. I'm not sure that's a stereotype for the one. I think those are Samoans. They're known for being really big, right? And the reason why I get this higher is because, well, I think like really high is because I don't know much about them. I might feel a little intimidated because I don't want to feel that I would ever offend any of their customs, even though my best friend growing up lived in Hawaii, so I basically was exposed to the Polynesian or Pacific culture, if that actually makes sense, right? And there was a woman that I talked to, right? I know she didn't want to be on camera, and I want to be respectful for it. When I used to shop at the 99-cent store, I don't remember her name. She was from Samoa. She was a sweetheart. She would even give me hugs, too. She was big. As in, well, she was a little overweight, right? But that's not important, okay? As in, big, she was tall. Right? And I was kind of shocked. She was pretty tall. Not crazy tall, but taller than the average woman. Okay? And she basically works really hard inside the store. She is just so welcoming to the shoppers. And there didn't seem to be more Pacifics like her. Also, in my state, which is really funny to me, I remember I was seeing a handful of Hawaiian license plates. I mean, we don't live that far. I mean, across the sea, but it's not as though they would have to go all the way to the East Coast. But yeah, we have some of them here. I know they have a lot of them in Utah. I think mostly in the Salt Lake region, I'm sure. Okay, and then for Arabs, okay, A-, so not an S, because I know that they tend to be a little bit, let's just say, strict on their privacy and whatnot, I think, or you gotta be a little bit more cautious about their religion, right? The reason why I ranked it so high is because that woman that I hang out with, yes, at first, this is before the domestic incident that happened, right? Or she did introduce me to some Arab men, really sweet, okay? And there are Iraqis, okay? Because in my origin, I met Iraqis. I did met a Syrian at the 99-cent store. I forgot, she was from Syria. Okay, but those are only two types of Arabs I've met. I haven't met My experience, Egyptians, or maybe let's just say Jordans, or Iranians, or they're Middle Eastern, right? I don't think they are. I forgot. I'm so sorry, honestly. Okay, those are the only types of Arabs I've met. And, oh, should I put Jewish in here? I forgot to add them, but whatever. Basically, they're really welcoming. They basically do their best just to like help you what you needed, because I remember when my mother and I had to go to this third party cell phone store and he didn't want to be recorded, and I understand that. Maybe because since he's Muslim, right? I know Muslims are really strict when it comes to film or privacy, I think. Okay, I don't know. I don't know though. It felt as though I was living in Egypt, so I kind of understand that at the same time. But he was so sweet because he repaired my phone twice. I still have it, and it sucks super monkey balls that the charger port is so damaged. But I just say Iraqis are really sweet people. They are. And I do love their flag. I just wanted to share that. And let's just say that, you know, maybe because since I'm a little bit darker complex, they may see me as one of their equals, kind of. Even though I may will come off as Egyptian. I think Egyptians are probably really curly hair. So I don't know. Okay, all I just know is that they are family oriented. And they do speak English really well, the ones I've... And, you know, they just doing their best to get by. And, you know, I mean, I don't know that much about Arabs or Arab Iraqis, though. Okay, just the ones that woman they allow me to interact with, and they're really, really sweet and push you to do drugs or whatever, from what I met. Okay, the last one, Indians. I give them a C plus because how am I gonna explain this? The ones I met online, if that actually makes sense. Let's say Amigo, for example, not a long time ago, or even just somewhere else. Okay, they can be a little bit sexual, not in a good way, and they can be kind of sexist. Okay, maybe it's just the ones I'm missing on travel videos, and it's kind of accurate. Again, these are just a handful of Indians that I've seen, and it's sad that they act this way. Okay, because they can be like that. They can be a little bit hypocritical, because I know their country is known for being, let's just say, unbalanced. Right? And if you call them out, they would get really offended. And I understand that. I do. Honestly, I would love to visit India. I do. Okay? Also, just to be a little bit random, because they're known for practicing yoga. Let's just say I find that really attractive. Okay? That Indian men practice that. If you know what I mean by that. However, though, ones I've met, I don't think they like blacks, maybe. A couple of them. I remember the ones I met online. Let's just say that on an app I would use. In the past, Snapchat, right? A long time ago. A long ago. I haven't told my mother, but I think I made a video of it. This was ages ago, okay? I mean, I don't use it anymore, whatever. Okay, plus, I don't know, I barely use it at all. I only use it a few times, okay? I remember I did talk to a really tech guy on there. I don't want to talk about it. I don't, okay? But I met him on there. The texting version of Amigo, right? And he was at university. And he was 22 or something. He was in his early 20s. I just want friends on there, okay? Just wanted to mention that. But I know they could be. I know people can be unpredictable. They lie a lot. It happens, okay? And when he went to ask for a face photo, I was on pending. If you know what that means, he blocked me. And I was upset because we had a good conversation. The conversation wasn't crazy long, but enough that he would ask for the username, and I'll send him a selfie of me. He looked average. I don't care about looks. Okay? Just someone to just talk to, I guess. His English is really good, from what I could tell. I'm believing he's probably from India. Just guessing on that. And yeah, he blocked me, and I did not know why. So I just thought I could just bring that up, because they can be a little bit of a mixed bag, but I know they are great people, though. Not to mention, they do like to be on camera sometimes. From the travel tubers I would see, right? Especially Drew Binsky, for example, even though he's white Jewish, or a gendered Jew, if that makes sense. And I wish I would have more experiences with all these races, right? You know, Filipinos, just to get back on them very quick, right? I knew a worker there. Actually, she didn't mind being camera. Well, it's a public place, right? At least where I'm from, it's different. I know each state, they have different mannerisms, and especially police or whatever. So just because we're all an American, right? Or for my American viewers, doesn't mean that we're all the same. What I mean by that, I mean, we all should be treated fairly, but we don't act the same. If that makes sense, right? We have different mannerisms, cultures, whatever. Okay? I'm sure it's the same way depending on the country that you're from. Let's just say if you're from the United Kingdom. If you live in Newcastle, you probably have a stronger, maybe you have a stronger accent, you act more country than someone that's London. They would act more, let's just say, corporate, right? If that makes sense. Totally different. Maybe the police might be more kinder in Newcastle than London. I don't know. Okay? Honestly, just because we're one nation doesn't mean that we're treated as one nation. We're treated as 50 nations, for crying out loud. In one nation, right? That's just how it is. I mean, forbid, we have 230 plus million people in this country. Of course, we're not going to be the same. That's obvious. So I just had to share that because I remember when I go to that store, she would always play jokes with me. Even though being autistic, it can be a little hard to tell, right? Because I thought, is she making fun of me? But she was just she's not having the dark humor that Mexicans would have. And let's just say the bullying type of way to be friends with you. This is more of this, oh, you know what, you just stealing that? Not just joking, right? But Mexicans, they'll say, hey, cholo, or, yeah, I used to get called that. I don't know why. Back when I was in junior high school. Most of my school, again, was Mexican, okay? And it was a little bit hard to be friends with them because, yes, can be a little intimidating. Okay, again, if you are offended, I understand, and I don't want to come off that way. Okay, it's just that for me, I just did not got a good card in my deck. Okay, even though I pulled out a spade. You know why? Hint, hint. Okay, ace, right? If that actually makes sense. Ace. Ace. I want to keep the secret. If someone is ace, right? Hint, hint. Something like that, right? And I know that they can be a little sexual, right? If that makes sense. So that's just basically just me grading my experience of these ethnicities that I've encountered throughout my life. I know that there were others on there. Okay, and I'm not sure if this will get half our viewers, but if it does, then I could do a part 2 because I know I'm missing Jew, let's just say Korean. I mean, Jew and I know it's a little bit separate, right? Because Jewish people, it's also the white Arabs, right? They're an interesting group, right? As well, I'm not sure if they count. I mean, they're white, but yet again, I think Russia should be their own. Right, because they're Eurasians, right? So they're mixed, but they're not mixed. It's a little complicated, you know. If that makes sense. I've kind of done it by nationality, but the thing is, I like to go by group, right? So again, for Latinos, let's just say the majority, of course, are Mexican, right? We're not talking about Spaniards or Cubans, right? They're totally different. This is Latino, but most of them are Mexican, right? So if you're Latino, I'll probably feel a little bit nervous. But if you're, let's just say, okay, if you're Latino, I mean, I'll probably be okay, right? But let's just say if you're Mexican, I'll probably feel nervous because you're probably going to instantly racial profile me, or you're probably going to give me the ick if I try to speak Spanish towards you, or if I may be a little too dark. Those are most of my experiences of that nationality, of that group that happened to be Latino, right? So, yeah, sadly, I did met a lot of awful ones. Again, the video that I made previously. That is my experience, okay? And I want to unlock that fear, but is that gonna overnight? It just won't work that way. So, I just wanted to share this for people that are any of these ethnicities, except for Filipino. I just want to understand. I get it. If you basically have people telling that we're not meant to be like that, you know, and I feel awful. I get it. I do. I just wanted this to have you, let's just say if you know someone of your ethnic group that acts that way, educate them to know that they can't continue acting like that, because They're giving a great reason of people that are discriminated by any of your ethnic groups to have a fear. It's the same way, let's just say for us Americans, right? Whatever our race would be, especially us blacks, I get it. That Japanese don't like us. I don't blame them. Because those, Johnny Somali, right? I can't believe he was born in my city. That's a crime itself. The parents made a mistake. Sorry, literally, pardon me. Well, I'm sure they haven't, but whatever. Okay, that they would basically create these rules. Like, could I be filming around certain women that wear kimonos, right? Or maybe certain Shinto temples. I get that. Because the Japanese are really, really putting it up. That they're really, let's just say, they don't want to put it up with it anymore. I don't blame them. They're not racist. They're not, because they're treated as animals. They're not animals. They're human beings just like the rest of us, but so many of us don't get that. Again, there's no such thing as world peace. That's never going to happen. It's not. But we actually could at least try to make the globe a peaceful place to live. World peace is never going to happen. Again. Okay, if that's the case, why do we have these bombings happening in Iran? Okay, in the West Gaza? You tell me. Okay, or we have World War I and II. There's no such thing as world peace. I don't know where they have people keep coming that from. Okay, honestly, if that's the case, then why do gays getting killed in certain parts of the globe? Tell me that. Okay, tell me that. Yes, I know there are great people on this earth, but golly, there are always going to be people that are not great. Okay, literally, this isn't Dreamland. Okay, well, I'm sure Dreamland there's some monsters as well that Kirby has to basically swallow his fears with. Absolutely. So, alright, when you be back? Okay. Pardon me for that. I just wanted to educate for the ones that are new here on this channel. I do not want you to feel offended. I don't. I can't remember, it took up almost a half hour. And it's 2 minutes before 3 right now. So that's just basically something I just want to share. There's probably one more thing I've forgotten now. I don't know what it is. I have speech block. I forgot what the heck it was just now. I don't remember. I can see when my mother opened the door, it's deja vu. I forgot. So, yeah. This is just my experience. And, oh yeah, Deon, that's right. About the marker road that Shortcut uploaded. I'm not a fan of him though, but I kind of want to do a reaction to that later. This picture, how, let's just say, there are people out there, kind of say this so they gave me metaphor very quick. There are people out there that love the Switch too. That's great. But there are some people like me that may feel a little bit the ick because people like to brag about buying it, or Nintendo likes to mistreat their own owners, even though they don't own the game. That's not fair, right? But that doesn't make Nintendo an awful... They did some awful stuff, but in general, they're not awful, right? It should define them as a company that just made some gullible decisions, right? On how they appear that way. That's why there are people that like Microsoft, or maybe as someone that grew up with the PS1, Sony, right? But I still love Nintendo regardless. Same way that I love how Mexicans are, their culture and the beautiful language or the accent that they have. It's just a shame that I get mistreated by them, right? I'm not sure if that's a good metaphor.
Autumn has a bellyache, so she's sleeping, so leave her alone.
Wait, what do you mean Autumn? Huh?
I mean,
Summer? How do you know she has a bellyache?
The way she's been acting. She refused her bone this morning, and she's been sleeping all day, so she'll turn late. So let's leave her be.
Wait, can I see her very quick? Hold on.
Yeah, let's leave her be.
She's okay. I think is she sick? I know those doggy bones are a little much. I tried to tell you, Mama, that she... I know that, so when she gets funny, I don't feel it. That's no rest. Alright. Drop the dad. Huh? Drop the dad. Right. I mean, I feel guilty because I gave them a while back.
Don't keep them shit.
It was a piece of a week.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a piece of a week. Sorry, it was only a week that I gave them.
I don't care what it was.
I know you want me to give them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but you like to.
I know when a piece.
I know, but the thing is, we should cut.
But I am the only piece, you understand?
The butter's too much. That's probably why, though. Yes, it is. I know Darren told me that.
I'm not arguing. I'm about.
Well, the butter's fattening.
I told you that let's say. Why don't you keep something?
Well, next time I'm not gonna feed them butter then because that might be the problem. How do you know? I know, but maybe that's why because that's what I've been feeding them. I think we need to stop giving them butter though, because I'm not sure if it's safe for dogs. I don't know. I gotta look that up. Because Darren told me I'm worried that maybe because that does increase the fat and they can't have too much of it. I don't know. Because you told me that you want me to give them butter, right?
I said, yeah.
I know, but you told me that. But I don't. But I feel that sometimes, not all the time, but I feel that we should stop doing it. Okay. Alright. Well, sometimes I feel that, because, yeah, I remember she was barely, she was like a, well, we can't push her that way.
I'm not pushing her down. I'm not arguing.
I know, but I'm just telling you, Mama, I told you. I know, can we just cut back on just giving them the bones a bit?
Okay?
I know, it's just.
I did not give her one today. The other had one, but she didn't. She didn't want it. It's fine.
Alright. Well, Bella's fine though, she's not fat. If it was that simple, I could get a suit and apply for one. Already helped if you're minding the job and his family is struggling. He's loving this person. You would have come up with the job thing again. Well, I'm tired of arguing as well because I had to help him with this job and I'm glad he got murdered. Okay? Literally, his family's dysfunctional. At least our family isn't. His mother's almost dying. I can help him with that, so that's why I'm stressing out. And they're in the cell. You know how bad the self is? Alright. Oh, you know I do. Of course I do. I'm sick with somewhere. Huh. Sorry about that. That's, yeah. Yeah, that's alright. Sorry about that. Dan, you're doing your best. If anyone ever wants to donate, literally, or just help, sorry for the extension, okay? I like to do behind the closet. I don't know what to call it. Behind the Navajo curtain, but if you want to just help get my channel back, follow me on Twitter if you want. Okay, is Deon Garf. It's a picture of me with a scarf on it. If not, that's fine if you don't have one or are not able to. But for the ones that do care enough, it would mean a lot if you basically do care. So other than that, my pups are fine. It's just that, well, we tend to, let's just say, at least they're not starving, right? We tend to, you know what I mean, okay? If you are curious, I could talk about the live stream or whatever. If you're viewing this, I'm gonna end this. I can't believe I've been talking for 34 minutes, my glob. But other than that, this is my behind the Navajo curtain. I don't know why I call it that way. The Navajo door, whatever. Okay, of my racial experience of 7 different ethnicities.